Welcome back. The poultry industry has been on its knees for quite some time. And according to the South African Poultry Association, government has dished the industry with another challenge. That's as the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Ibrahim Patel, decided to cut duties on targeted frozen poultry imports. Now, these rebates could possibly weigh on an already battered industry. And joining me with more insight is Sapa CEO Izaak Breitenbach. Thank you so much for your time, Izaak. Now, before we actually even get to the impact of these import tariff rebates, let's actually start off with what is currently happening, how things currently are. What does the playing field look like between locally produced chicken and imports?
We had a very rough year in 2023 due to the highly pathogenic avian influenza outbreak. We culled about in excess of 9.5 million birds, and that represents about 30% of all the chickens that we have on the floor. So that was devastating. But luckily, I can report that our last outbreak was towards the end of November last year. And the way that it really impacts us, if we talk what's the differences between the local industry and imports, long-term imports have actually come down. And that is predominantly caused by the high-path AI in Europe and in America that reduced imports to South Africa, but also probably the anti-dumping tariffs that we applied for during 2023.
All right. Now, these rebates now that we're talking about here, they would kick in only if there is a shortage, right? But also, how bad would things have to be for there to actually be a chicken shortage?
We did presentations to ITAC, and in that we actually showed that there was no shortage in chicken or expected a shortage in chicken last year and also in 2024. We have shown that the industry took remedial action when avian influenza hit and we lost a lot of our hens producing the hatching eggs. We imported in excess of 150 million hatching eggs to ensure that we have the supply of chicken meat in the country. And if we haven't done that, we would have had hatcheries standing vacant, we would have had chicken houses standing vacant, and abattoirs running at half capacity. So we really averted a problem last year by importing these eggs. Now, if we talk about imports now under the rebate, it is devastating for us that we've had to contend in 2023 not only with highly pathogenic avian influenza, but also load shedding and also very high raw material prices. And what this rebate will do is to reduce the import cost for the importer. And we got these tariffs for a reason, and that is to protect the industry from unfair competition from abroad.
Well, I mean, the argument seems to be that for this import tariff rebate seems to be that the powers that be want to protect the consumer from higher poultry prices. What do you have to say about this?
The industry has always been concerned about the consumer. And for many, many years, we've supplied cheap chicken to the masses for years and years on end. And we will carry on doing that. We don't agree with the mechanism to reduce the price of chicken because we don't believe, one, that there's a shortage. And ITAC calculated 172,000 ton shortage, even after having looked at what we presented to them. Secondly, we need to understand that when we have a shortage like that, it will cause problems with pricing. But if we look back at last year, only the total increase during the high pathogenic avian influenza period was only 5.4%. And that is the normal increase that we see from September to December. Now in January, the prices dropped. And that is indicative of an oversupply of chicken. And we indeed have seen that the total amount of local production plus imports increased in the last 4 months from 179,000 tons to 195,000 tons per month. So there's ample chicken in the market. It will not push prices up because we're in an oversupply situation, and therefore we don't need additional imports. Additional imports will replace local production.
Yeah, of course, one of the big challenges was the bird flu, and I'm wondering how the vaccination effort is going right now. Do you still need vaccines?
Absolutely. We need to avert the crisis created by influenza of last year. And the virus has changed its habits. We could control influenza viruses by a stamping out policy where we just culled a lot of birds. It didn't work for us very well in 2023, and therefore we absolutely need to vaccinate our flocks. Now we've made progress on this. We've got 3 H5 vaccines registered. Department of Agriculture, or DELRA as they are known, have published the biosecurity protocols as well as the monitoring protocols, and companies can start to vaccinate. And indeed, some companies have already applied for to vaccinate. What we haven't got as we speak is the H7 vaccine. The vaccine we imported was not effective against our strain of H7, so we developed a vaccine locally. That was tested during December, and the dossier is with Act 36 at the moment, and we expect an outcome by the end of February. And we will then expect a flood of applications from companies that would like to vaccinate.
Indeed, that is encouraging news, and it was also encouraging to see the latest update from Astral Foods there on the progress that the industry has made on the journey back to normalization. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights today, Izaak. That was the CEO of the South African Poultry Association, Izaak Breitenbach.